Welcome to Built for This, the podcast where real estate meets real life skills. Hosted by Andrea Lane and Alissa Bicar, each episode features investors turning their unique edge into long-term rental success.
Hello and welcome to the Built for This podcast. I am your co-host, Alissa Bicar, and I'm here with my co-host, Andrea Lane, bringing you real-world conversations from real estate investors about how they do and what they do, about who they are and what they're passionate about. Andrea, who do we have for them today?
So today I'm really excited to introduce you to Jen Marlatt. We met about 5 years ago or 4 years ago. I had a live event, and one of my mentees brought her along and said, oh, she wants to learn. And I was really excited. It was great meeting you there. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about your real estate journey.
Yeah, so
Absolutely.
We want to know like what kind of investing you do and where you do it and kind of what the status of your current portfolio looks like.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm in Columbus, Ohio. I invest in long-term real estate. I started out of necessity of taking control of a dilapidated duplex next door, and the opportunity to purchase at a price point you can no longer get in Columbus anywhere in this city. I mean, it was like learn on demand to make it happen. And I mean, I grew up with parents that are very hands-on, like grew up in my father's wood shop and working on cars with him, and I studied industrial design. So like building with the hands, creative problem solving, it's literally in my DNA, and like a love for renovating and like seeing a car, a piece of furniture, a house that could use some love, and like seeing the potential and making it come to life, and creating a really, just a beautiful, safe home for people is especially what I dig.
I mean, and especially when it's right next door, because sometimes we want to improve our neighborhoods and things like that. So, I mean, that's very cool that you took your upbringing and what you knew of like beautification and hands-on work, and you applied that to this deal you couldn't refuse. It sounds like.
Yeah. And so from that first property, it grew. Like this would have been in the early 90s. And so, like that was a great time to purchase real estate. And again, it was just like another house like on the block became available, and it was like, okay, I'm going to buy it, and did. And that particular house, I closed on a Wednesday and collected rent on a Thursday. And it was the first kind of like, aha, oh, this is cool. Like, oh, and this is what investing in real estate is really about.
Yeah, that cash flow is nice.
Yeah. So I have 4 doors now. I actually just moved out of my long-term personal home, and that is now a rental. And kind of, grew into another house for myself that's not in the, it's no longer in, I'm no longer in the same neighborhood. I'm a little further out in Columbus, in this great pocket. But again, this pocket that I just bought into is like this undiscovered magical nook of real estate that I was lucky enough to learn about before the rest of Columbus.
Ooh, yeah, sounds like you've got your finger on the pulse there, and there are so many of us out there who want to find that next magical market. And sometimes, and like what I'm hearing you say is sometimes it's right in your own backyard.
Yeah,
Frequently, it's on in your
absolutely.
backyard. People like you who take the opportunity to look behind it. So many people say there's no opportunities out there, and there's opportunities all over. So kudos to you. That's fabulous.
Yeah. How do you
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
your now I'm just going to switch gears to the professional
Yeah.
space of real estate. And how do you feel like your professional or your career skills kind of lent into or played a hand in your success as a real estate investor?
So I studied industrial design, which is like product design. It's anything from furniture to automotive to housing for stereo or computer equipment. And we learned a lot about manufacturing and building and designing for these parts that went around, engineered pieces or whatever. And so having that knowledge about manufacturing, and then the background of being the kid growing up with parents that were renovating, refinishing furniture, restoring cars, it just kind of built this inherent like lack of fear to just do things and try to and just find a solution. Creative problem solving, like, when renovating, there are not always parts that fit what you're doing, and you gotta create them, or you're on a budget. So you make it happen and you get creative, and with the materials you have, or like to make it work. And so that's some of it. From school, I actually got into retail. So I've worked for a number of global retail brands here in Columbus. And I've designed into everything from windows and, navigation through the store. I've partnered with store design and construction. And most recently, I'm managing a team of designers in the digital space. So again, it's like, we don't always know what we're creating, and we gotta like figure out the specs. I gotta communicate that to the team. And we're all about connecting with the customer and marketing to them, and driving inspiration for them to, in a sense, buy a product. And in real estate, our houses, our real estate are the product. So, I mean, I learned early on that whether we're selling tires, homes, lingerie, or candles, it's, you got to connect with the customer. And I grew up in a family of people, and so, when I'm working with vendors, like my contractors, clear communication with them, building relationships. When it comes to like filling the vacancy, like really meeting the tenants in an authentic space. I'm very clear about, like, I literally have blood, sweat, and tears in this space, and bruises, and, you know, and, so I'm like, this is not the place to party. Like, I will call the cops on you. I'm right next door.
Of course, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, but they also know the flip side of that. I am right next door, and I'm there to take care of the problem, and and build a relationship with them. Like, they move in, I'm hovering over them, or but it's that connection, and knock on wood, I've had I've had, for having rentals, I've had a very good run of tenants that take care of the house, that, you know, a lot of them are young and just starting to build their careers, their families. And it's been cool to see all of them, in a sense, kind of grow up.
That's fabulous. So it sounds
Yeah.
like you have tenants that are well placed. So you did a good
Yes.
job on that, and you work well with them. So what is your biggest
Yeah.
challenge or struggle in real estate?
Um, the Columbus market is hot, and I would like to invest in more homes. Um, I'm not so attracted to investing in another city. At this point, I still like to be hands-on. You know, I'm calling the contractors when there's, you know, an issue with plumbing, or, you know, something needs to be fixed. With the heat this summer, the AC isn't working. um, and you know, so I'm very much you know, managing the day to day in addition to the renovations. But it is a challenge to find a viable investment in Columbus. The market, it has really elevated, and it's, you know, to find a house that you could put a mortgage on and collect rent that would cover it is just not realistic right now.
So you were managed to find one for yourself that you probably could build with. So your challenge is going to
Yeah.
find more of those, right?
Yes.
Good for
And
you. That's
as
your
more,
challenge today.
yeah. And then something else that I'm looking into, is with the Columbus, with there being a housing issue in Columbus and with the market being so hot, the city has started communicating opportunities for auxiliary housing. Um, so each of my duplex has a big carriage house behind it. And my hope was to renovate it into an apartment. It needs far more work. So I will be shifting the zoning, tearing it down, and I'm connecting with builders to learn about the reality of whether or not building is a realistic means of growing my doors and keeping it within the budget of a rental.
That is really exciting. And that sounds like you already answered my next question, which was what's your plan for the next couple of months? It sounds like you have a lot on your plate trying to
Yeah,
figure out if it's viable, what makes sense, if you should tear it down, and is it worth building back? And that sounds like you have a really exciting next year plan for yourself, which I'm very excited for you. But I have a
yeah.
question. All of this, and can you share a recent win or a story from your investing journey that you think would be of interest to our viewers?
Yeah. So at this point, my, other than the house I just moved out of, like the fourth door, the other three doors are free and clear. Um, Everything's been paid off over the last year. So that's huge.
That is humongous.
Yeah, yeah, which needed to happen because, again, with Columbus growing, the taxes have gone up, everybody's insurance has gone up. Um, so that was a huge win. Um, and I'm hoping to have the mortgage on that fourth door paid off in the next 2 years. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Congratulations.
Oh, I love this. Like free and clear, working on the next ones. Sounds like you've really set yourself up for success. You're an inspiration to all of us. So if people want to learn more or connect with you, where can they go to find you?
Uh, yes, I'm on LinkedIn But also I drop my email address into the chat. So you can reach out to me via email.
Very cool. So thank you so much. I'm sure that, again, you've heard it. This is real life real estate investing, bringing all of you to the table so that you can have a successful real estate investment business as you build, as you move forward. Jen, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears here with us today. And if you're listening on the podcast channel, don't go away. We have another amazing episode queued up for you right after this. So stay tuned, and we will see you in the next.
This wraps another episode of Built for This. If you're a real estate investor with a unique edge, apply to join us at builtforthisshow.com/guest.